Good afternoon. Welcome to the intermediate level of the Warrior Combat Cane System. What we're going to go through are the basics and intermediate levels of using a hooked cane for self-defense. I started in combat cane fighting in 1994. I was sparring with a second-degree black belt in Hapkido, and I went for a high round kick. He caught my leg, went to throw me, and ripped my leg out of the socket. And he and I both knew it because I was screaming really loud as I hit the ground. He very quickly put my hip back in the socket, but I was stuck walking with a cane for several weeks after that. And through his remorse, he looked at me and he said, "I really would like to teach you Jong Sul." And I'd never heard of Jong Sul. I'd been in martial arts for a couple of decades at that point. So I went down to the studio, to the dojang, and he started teaching me how to use a hooked cane. Jong Sul is a 500-year-old Korean martial arts system that I'd never seen or heard of. It's generally reserved for black belts or higher in Hapkido. Well, the first 30 minutes of the first lesson I had with him, I said, "This is genius." I said, "I can now carry a 3-foot stick legally anywhere I want to go." And that's the key. With the hook, this is a medical device. A straight walking stick with a knob on the top or just a straight cane in California, Illinois, and New York is a felony bludgeon. It is not considered a medical device. The hook itself defines it as a medical device. With that in mind, I looked at Jong Sul and I said, okay, this is a great martial arts system, but Jong Sul takes years to master. And I looked at it and I said, I'd like to design this down and really study it from a different perspective, and that's to make it more of a combat art, to make it more street effective and self-defense practical. So I kept working with Jong Sul, and then I studied the Lacanne system from France from the 1800s. I studied the Hanbo, which is the Japanese system with a straight walking stick, and found every stick fighting system that I could find and worked my way through it so that I could really hone down what would be accessible not just for martial artists, but for anyone in the street. That's when I came up with the Warrior Combat Cane System. These canes that we're using, and the canes that I recommend, we call the Valhalla Hammer. This was a coordinated effort by myself and Grandmaster Mark Shuey with Cane Masters. He hand carves every one of these canes. What I did first was I opened up the hook of the cane. See, normal drugstore canes come in and they're a tighter hook in here for older people or people who are infirm, have physical disabilities, so it's easier for them to grip. Opening this up wider gives you the ability to hook it around the neck, to get it to pin into the back or the shoulder, to get it to come in behind the leg and actually grab hold. So opening up the hook is crucial with the system. Extended the grip here so that you've got more purchase, you've got more strength and control, because with the carving here, you've got more tactile sensation, more grip on it. You go into adrenaline dump and your palms sweat, this isn't going to slide. You're going to have better grip to it. We added the shark's teeth here, lightens the shaft for more speed, and creates pinpoint pain versus blunt trauma. Grip at the bottom is from when you're using the hook end, either on a hooking technique, a striking technique. It's the same concept as the grip in here. These notches here were one of the last things we added to this cane. Step up. Stay right there. So with these here, the concept is I'm in here, I'm in too tight a space. So I'm in a small elevator. It's a 3-foot stick. It's hard to get into an action on something to do self-defense wise. If I'm here, I switch my grip here, grab him, and this strikes into the forehead, compresses the scalp against the skull, and as I strike forward and up, it tears open the flesh, causes blood to go into the eyes, disorients him, and gives me a chance to get away and create space. So this strike is in, and it's a raking motion. And again, the spacing here gives you the compression motion on the scalp and the tearing. The point here, every time I go through TSA, they take my cane, they run it through things. They run it through, they x-ray it, it's solid wood. So there's no metal in it, there's no lead weight, there's no blade, there's not a spike, there's not anything else going on. Every time though they do this. That's the only thing they've ever done. I've carried this cane through every major airport in the United States and Europe since 9/11. They x-ray it and hand it back. 9 times out of 10 though, they'll do this. So what we did was we created a wedge point and we tested it against raw pot roast wrapped in duct tape. And with just slight force, this punches right through the duct tape and into the flesh. We then took cargo pants, cut the legs off, wrapped the pot roast in that type of a canvas, punched right through every time. So this, with moderate force, will punch through canvas. It will tear through flesh even if somebody is fully clothed. Same thing with a denim jacket, heavy sweatshirt. This is going to cause, go ahead and put it over your back and just press it here into your back. And you'll feel uncomfortable, unpleasant. So you can imagine with a moderate amount of force and impact, how that's going to cause pain. It's going to pierce through, and then that can cause either a takedown, if it's up high, down low, it can cause a trip because of the pain compliance that you're using this for. So those are all the parts of the Valhalla hammer. First thing everyone tells me when I talk to them about cane fighting or combat cane, I don't want to carry a cane. It's in my way. I got too many things I have to do. It's inconvenient. It's long. It's a hassle to have the cane. And they're wrong, because the bottom line is that the law says you can carry this because it's got a hook on it. So by ADA law, this is a medical device. The law doesn't say how you have to carry it. So you have a lot of options. I mean, first off, it's got a hook, so that works. It's out of your way. You can shove it in your pants line, it's out of your way. You know, this works a whole lot, unless there's somebody standing really close behind you in line at the airport and you smack them in the chin, and then you have to explain that to other people. But so just be aware of your background here. But again, the law doesn't say that you need to be doing this to have a cane with you. The law says you can carry it anywhere you want to go. The most efficient way to carry the cane as a self-defense tool, hook it over your arm. So this is your first technique. So you've got it hooked over your arm. And look, from this position you can do anything. You can text, you can talk on the phone, you can carry groceries, you can open the car door. Anything you want to do, you can from this position. From here, all you have to do, rotate the palm down and let the cane fall into your hand. Let gravity do the job for you. So again, I'm here. Rotate the palm down and let it fall into your hand. When you feel the carving and the notches, when it lands in your hand, that's when you know you're in your fighting grip. So I'm in this position. Right? That's all it takes. Your fighting grip is this area here. So if I'm just standing with the cane and I'm leaning on it, or I'm at a traffic stop, or I'm old and fat, so I lean on my cane a lot because it takes pressure off the rest of my body. All I have to do to get my fighting grip is just slide down. Because I don't have to look to know that I'm in my fighting grip, because it's carved in a way that if I feel that grip, I know I'm ready to engage. So it's very innocuous. So I can be standing here and somebody's coming towards me. So you walk towards me, I don't do anything that would indicate an offensive motion to him. But if I start to get uncomfortable, I can go to here. He gets a little bit closer, then the cane can come into play to create space and distance and protect my surroundings from whatever the threat may be. So again, the goal is to get into your fighting grip. The point is, there's no steadfast rule on how to get into your fighting grip. Grandmaster Shuey, the founder of the American cane fighting system, he always carries his cane like this with the hook forward, because his system and his techniques deal a lot more with using the hook end. So he figures if an attack is coming at him, he's got it in his hand this way and he can block out here. For me, I tend to carry it in my offhand, my left hand, because I'm right-handed, because from this position, I can just get in the fighting grip and draw it and engage in a technique from here. So again, there's no rule on how to carry the cane. The point is, it doesn't have to be in your way. It doesn't have to be a burden. If you've got something else to do, this keeps it in your hand, then you're in your fighting grip. So again, go from here, go ahead and bring it up, and let the cane fall into your hand. Make sure that you get used to the feel of the cane so that you end up with the point of the hook pointing down to the ground. You don't want to overcatch it and catch it with the point of the hook up. You want to make sure that as you go around, it falls to the ground. It takes a little practice and a little balance to get used to the cane, but as you get used to carrying the cane and practicing this, it'll fall into your hand. Make sure that you do everything with both hands. Okay? Another important point on any self-defense that you're engaged in, make sure and move your feet. All right? This system is completely accessed by people with partial paralysis, people with prosthetics. We train a lot of veterans and wounded warriors who don't have any mobility. I actually just trained a group of Vietnam veterans in Cleveland, and I went up to one of them who obviously had no mobility, and I said, what was your injury? And he said, the Air Force dropped a tank on me. It's the first one for me. I'd never heard it. He said, and it crushed my pelvis. So he has he's very limited motion. But you figure if he could do this entire system and somebody dropped a tank on him, you can do this too. If you have mobility, remember to move your feet. If you're being attacked from somebody coming straight at you, step away. If you need to step in or step off to a side, so don't get brain locked with just using the self-defense tool. Make sure and keep your mobility so that you're better able to defend yourself in all directions. So again, go from here, rotate the palm down, and feel that grip so you're in your fighting grip. You want to make sure that your hand is just below the point of the hook, because in some of the techniques you don't want to catch yourself in this crook here. Your fighting grip needs to be a fist grip over the shaft of the cane. You don't want your thumb on top. If your thumb is on top here in this position and they catch the shaft on any of your techniques, you'll dislocate your thumb and break your wrist. If you're in here in the crook of the cane and you do any of the spearing techniques, you'll break your wrist this way. So I'm here in the fighting grip. If he comes at me very fast and I do this motion, even if he's got a lot of speed or power on him, I can still slide up and it won't hurt my wrist. But if he comes at me hard and I'm holding it here, I'm going to break my wrist or not be able to defend better. So back here, and again, the only key to this entire technique is making sure the shaft is on the outside of your arm. It won't work from the inside. If you rotate, the cane will hit the ground. And trust me, I've dropped my canes more times than I care to remember, but it happens. Just keep going. So from here, get in my fighting grip. Now, have it pointed down to the ground, and then that's it. It's a quick wrist motion up. You're not using your whole body. See, this is a feint motion. So what this is, it's a quick flip or quick flick of the shaft into the groin. We talk about the tip of the cane is actually the bottom 6 inches. So what you're thinking about is driving the bottom 6 inches of the cane into the groin with this motion. You don't want to think about the tip being just the rubber stopper, because any guy that sees this or senses this coming is going to try and hollow out. So if you're aiming with this much of the cane, he's not going to be able to hollow that far out. The other key to this, you don't move any of the upper arm. It's literally just a wrist motion up, and that way you're not telegraphing it. See, if you get your body motion into it at all, he's going to know something else is happening. So step up. Let's stand right there. So if I'm here and he's engaging with me, I'm standing here on my cane, and all of a sudden his hand comes up, I'm there. It's a motion that I should not telegraph here. So again, he goes to reach for me, that comes straight up. that get your attention? Yeah, real quick, did you see anything up here move? You want me to do the 3 more times?
No.
Okay, good. I'm all set, we're good with that one?
Yeah.
So again, it's this flick here. So what I want each of you to do, go ahead and stay where you are, but go ahead and smack the pad so you can feel the power. So slide in, just the wrist. Excellent. Step up here, face me this way. So the first time you did that, you were using your elbow.
Yeah.
Okay, and coming up that way. Do it a couple times. Now just use your wrist. Do you feel the difference in impact? It's a much harder impact with just the wrist because the wrist is faster. Using your bicep, your front deltoid, and a little bit of pectoralis. Where are you going? And using more upper body motion here, and these muscles are much slower because they're much larger. This is tendon and smaller muscles, more fast twitch. And so I can feel the impact difference than when you're using your whole elbow. Excellent. Good. Excellent. Anyone in here? Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what do I care? Does anyone here have a doubt that the impact you just felt would make any guy at least bend over and protect himself? This is not, the shaft of the groin is not a knockout strike. Okay, the shaft of the groin is a matter of deflecting his attention down. So if he's coming at you this way and doing this, or coming and starting with a short punch or a rabbit punch or a sucker punch here, you do this to the groin, his whole focus is going to go low to defend his groin. And then you can engage some other way or back out and get out of that situation. So again, this isn't a knockout strike. This is just to stop his assault or his aggression. Okay? So go from here, fighting grip, shaft of the groin. One more time. Arm over, carrying the cane, fighting grip, shaft of the groin. So back into your carry grip. Okay, we're up here. Now, I'm going to come down to get my fighting grip, but then I'm just going to stand. Okay, I'm just leaning, I'm just walking through life, having a good time. Now, I get assaulted from the front. Okay, a punch, a knife, something else coming in on a straight motion on an attack, somebody trying to grab you. I'm here, I slide down to my fighting grip, rotate the point of the hook out to the outside. I'm still in my fighting grip here, so wrap your fist around. Don't put the thumb on top. There you go. I'm here. Now, the upper arm stays pinned to the body. I'm going to bend my wrist to 90 degrees, and this rotates to the outside of my body and stops dead center in front of my nose. So again, I come down to here. I'm just standing, slide into my fighting grip, rotate the point of the hook out, straight up. So this is a shield. And what this does, again, this is stopping somebody from coming at you. So if you have mobility, you can step away as his assault comes in and get the defense off that way. You want the arm at 90 degrees, and again, this all stays focused and locked in here. And it keeps you from reaching out or letting this float any direction. So you straight in this way. Exactly. So, if this is coming at you, right, and stop dead center in front of you. So don't reach that arm out, keep it bent into your body. So there, yeah. Okay, slide further down, there. That gives you more control. So come back here in your carry. Okay, so this is position 1. Fighting grip. Now, even from here, just do that motion. So don't start from the ground. Recognize that you can go from here, you're carrying, somebody comes at you too quickly, you didn't recognize them coming, drop into your fighting grip, and straight up. And stop dead center in front of your nose. Again, you don't want to over-rotate, because if you miss, now this is much harder to get into play on what you've got going on. So here, fighting grip, shield. I'm back here, fighting grip, shaft of the groin, straight up. Depending on what you need, they all work from here. So everything we've done to this point, as far as shaft of the groin, shield, these are primarily defensive, right? You're not doing anything to reach out. These are defensive motions, somebody coming towards you or at you. The next one is a backhand. So I'm here, position one, going to my fighting grip. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to, again, rotate that point of the hook to the outside of your body, and then you're going to rotate your palm up this way. Let me see. Here, backhand. And this, you're aiming, your point of aim on this is basically elbow to shoulder. So you're tabletopping this. You're keeping it flat, parallel to the ground, so that you're here, not coming up at an angle. You don't want to try and hit the head, because they'll duck, right? They'll flinch. You get a bee flies at you, a baseball flies, you do this and you flinch. It's automatic. It's a survival technique. So if I'm here, my carry grip, fighting grip, and then again, it's that palm rotating up. And this is not, you're not cocking your whole body. You're not twisting at the waist. You're not using your whole shoulder motion. I'm here, and I'm just rotating my wrist. Now, do you hear that? That's how much speed and power you can generate from this position. Whereas if I cocked up, first off, he might run at me and jam it, so that I can't move it here. Second off, it's just way too slow. This is a very quick motion, and you're aiming elbow to shoulder. If you hit somebody in the head with that much power, you'll kill them. That's a whole lot of mess you need to deal with, legally, morally, and whatever else you end up facing from this situation. The other thing is, he's going to sense it, generally speaking, and he's going to flinch to get away. As he flinches, it's going to glide off. And you're going to end up catching him on the side of the neck, which could possibly knock him out anyway. If he doesn't flinch or move, you're going to be able to disrupt him. Next step up here. Just leave the cane there. So if I'm in here, I got uncomfortable because, face it, you're scary looking. just going straight for that, right? If he reaches in his pocket, I don't know if he's going for knife, I don't know if he's going for gun, whatever he's doing, I can offset and strike here. Now, whatever that was is now further away from me, and I've disrupted his flow, and I'm able to come off into a better position to defend myself. If he goes with his right hand and reaches in, I come this way, and I've jammed him in the abdomen here. If I don't have the mobility, and he reaches, and I strike that elbow, that's now disrupted anything he's done. Don't move, so I can show the speed on it. So again, he reaches, and he's done. Again, he reaches, and he's done. Fair enough? Again, I'm not aiming at the head, because all he's got to do is duck or back up. I'm done. Okay? Thank you. So again, come here and you carry. Fighting grip, backhand. Good, much better than last time. The way I know if I'm doing this well when I train on my own is I listen. If I'm hearing that, I've got the speed and torque I want from it. Keep running through. Carry, fighting grip, shaft to the groin. Rotate the point of the hook to the outside, shield. Come back down, rotate the palm over, backhand. Now, look where I end up. As I do the backhand, I end up exactly here. Now, if the person who's been attacking me hollows out, so I completely miss, if I went for his head, I'm up here. It puts me way out of position for any follow-through strike. When I come through on the backhand, this direction, if he hollows out, I have my next strike. So it's backhand, follow-through, low strike. And I'm aiming mid-quad to mid-calf. And what my goal is, at this point here, this has gone from bad to worse to terrible. I've gone backhand, and I'm going to shatter the leg. And that's my goal. I'm not aiming for any minute spot on the leg. Anything between the thigh and the calf in this region here is going to take the leg out from him. Louise, step up. So Louise is here on me. He comes at me with a knife. Anything else reaches. I do this. He hollows out and moves out of the way. Then it's a short step for me, and I shatter the leg. I'm hitting him mid-shaft. That's what the shark's teeth are for. I'm not trying to get him with the tip because he could just hop out of the way. So if I come through and shatter his leg using the mid-shaft, even if he starts to back up on this motion through, I'm still going to catch him with part of it. So don't move or go home early. Your options completely. So again, I'm here, I backhand, and I follow through, so don't move. You feel it?
Yes.
Does that suck?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. Thank you.
Okay.